Good afternoon everyone and magandang RMMC. My name is Franceslyn A. Lozano and let's start our report. What is research?
The word research has its roots in the Old French word recherche, meaning to investigate thoroughly. Books on educational research often go a little further and define research as seeking through methodical processes to add to one's own body of knowledge and, hopefully, to that of others. By the discovery of non-trivial facts and insights, this definition conveys the idea that research has two important components.
The first component is inquiry that is carried out systematically and purposefully. Second, inquiry that focuses on revealing some new knowledge. There are several very important steps in any research. First, there must be a clear purpose. We must formulate a question that we will answer. Second, there must be a detailed plan for trying to answer that question so that the research will be systematic. Third, data must be gathered and analyzed in an attempt to answer the question so that new knowledge can be revealed. And lastly, some conclusions must be reached either to answer the original questions or to explain why we could not find an answer.
To use student research as a teaching strategy, you have to help the students understand and work through each of these stages so that they learn how to investigate, experiment, relate information, and draw logical conclusions.
In general, there are three approaches to research that are useful for the teachers and the students. First is research based on finding, interpreting, and using information that has been produced by someone else.
For example, a research that located historical accounts of the Boer War and compared them would be a research that used existing information even though that information might be reinterpreted to provide a new perspective.
Second is research based on gathering, interpreting, and using information that did not exist before the research was conducted.
This could be exemplified by a research that involved interviewing Australians who had served in the Gulf War and drawing conclusions about the impact of the war on their lives would be generating new data.
Third is research based on some form of experimentation.
For instance, a research that investigated the effects of applying different amounts and types of fertilizer to roses to see how it influenced their blooms. All research should set out to answer one or more research questions. It is the systematic attempt to answer a research question that changes an activity or project into research. When student research is used as a teaching strategy, the research questions should focus on important issues to which the students can relate, but which the students do not fully understand. Sometimes, a useful way to get the students to focus on an important issue is to have them develop their own research question. Furthermore, teaching the students on how to do research is necessary, but not sufficient. In helping them learn about the subject through research, whenever you use this strategy, you must emphasize to the students that the purpose of the research is for them to gain some specific knowledge. Often, you will not want to tell them exactly what the knowledge is, because discovering it will be the focus of the research. However, they need to understand that they are not just doing an exercise. They are engaged in a search to deepen their understanding.
Thank you for listening. Now, let's proceed to the next reporter with the next discussion.
When and why should research be used as a teaching strategy? A prerequisite for using this strategy is that your learners must be capable of working effectively in groups or individually. Why should research be used as a teaching strategy? The following are the advantages of using student research as teaching strategy according to Kellen 2009. Research encourages the learners to ask questions, to investigate, to discover, and to create answers for themselves, rather than writing for someone else to provide the answers for them. Meaning, when create answers for themselves, it helps them to be more independent learners who believe they are capable of understanding complex issues and discovering important new knowledge themselves. Research can give the learners experience working in the way professional work. For example, it can help children to become young scientists for the reason they have experienced the way what professional work, and it awakens their passion and what they really want in their life. Research can teach learners on how to make use of the sources of information that are available in their local community. For example, in doing our research paper and thesis writing, we need to use sources of information like books, magazines, databases, journals, so we can add some information in our chosen topic, but remember to cite and recognize the author to avoid plagiarism. Research can provide a meaningful context for the learners to use and develop their communication skills. As what I have said a while ago, the best example for this is when we are doing our research paper or thesis writing, because we are reading books, journals from internet or from other reliable resources for us to get a informations for our topic. In fact, through this, the learners develop their reading skills, note-taking skills, writing skills, and communication skills, particularly if the researchers are required to discuss and defend its work. Research is crucial for it helps us in our daily activity in life. But student research is not always appropriate in all occasions because there are limitations for this strategy. When students should research be used as a teaching strategies? The students are self-motivated and can learn with minimal assistance. Meaning, this self-driven pushes the students to do their best to learn more without even getting assisted from others. Second, if you want to encourage students to take a deep approach to learning. Meaning, if we are the teacher, we should encourage and bring out the best of our students by letting them to have a research or student research to have a deep approach of learning. You want to encourage students to enjoy learning. So letting our students to have a student research can really help them to explore themselves, get information from different sources that will help them to learn and enjoy while at the same time learning. Do not use research if the students lack the basic skills to work independently or in a small groups. We know that students are not all the same, and we cannot escape the fact that there are students who are not capable to do research, and those students really needs our assistance. Second, if the students have a poor literacy skills. Literacy skills are all kinds needed for reading and writing. They include such things such as awareness of sounds, of languages, awareness of print, and the relationship between letters and sounds. Other literacy skills include vocabulary, spelling, and comprehension. For those who have students who have poor literacy skills, encourage them read aloud and widely. Let them guide their reading as well as set reading goals.
Morning everyone, I'm Ezra Lumba and I'm going to discuss on how to use research as teaching strategy. Research is very much a student-centered approach to learning, but it is not something that you should expect your students to do totally independently. It will not be sufficient to simply give the students a research question and leave them to their own devices to find the answers. Instead, you will have to plan each phase of the research carefully and prepare your students by making sure that they have all of the prerequisite skills, or the research project is structured in such a way that the students will develop the skills as they work through the research. You have to plan carefully for each of these things. You might proceed as follows. First, decide exactly what you want the students to learn. You should have clear learning outcomes. Develop suitable research question or a set of questions that will be the focus of the students' research activities and that will help them achieve the desired learning outcomes. Identify what prior knowledge and skills the students will need in order to conduct their research. If necessary, teach that prior knowledge. This may involve teaching for research and teaching about research. Identify a number of strategies that the students might use if they are to be successful in their research, and be prepared to recognize and encourage the students who use these approaches. Plan the lesson in which you will introduce the students to the research exercise. Decide how you will explain what you want the students to learn and what you expect from them during their research. Plan how you will monitor the students' progress. This should involve at least being able to identify the parts of the research exercise that are likely to cause the most difficulties for the students. Decide what these difficulties might be and develop some strategies for minimizing these difficulties. Make sure that you have arranged for the students to get appropriate access to equipment, document, or people so that they can gather the data necessary for their research. Plan how you will assess what the students learn from the research. And the last is, plan how you will evaluate the research activity. It is also important that you prepare the students for their research. You can consider these guidelines. Explain carefully to the students why you are using this teaching strategy and what or how you expect they will learn from it. Effective teaching strategies work for any classroom, no matter what the age of the students or the subject. When a teacher implements a combination of effective teaching strategies, their students have more opportunities to perform better in class. Spell out your expectations and check that the students understand such things as when they will be doing the research, how much time it will take, what sort of things they will be doing, what type of product you expect them to produce, how you will assist their learning, whether you expect them to work in teams or individually, and what you will be doing while they are engaged in their research. Research is the best way to learn things. It is one thing to learn established material, concepts, and skills within a particular discipline. It is entirely another to learn how to formulate interesting questions, develop plans for answering those questions, execute those plans, analyze what was learned in the process, and communicate your findings. Ensure that the students have the necessary communication and social skills to work effectively together. Communication skills are most vital for interaction with students because the act of teaching itself requires them. In your role, you are responsible for comprehending and breaking down complex information, conveying this information clearly to your students, presenting in a manner that sustains their attention, and listening to and resolving their questions or problems.
Good day everyone, my name is Jeanjen Obianda and this is my topic. Structuring learning experience for students. Structured learning experiences are experiential supervised educational activities designed to provide students with exposure to requirements and responsibilities of specific job titles or job groups, and to assist them in gaining employment skills in making career and education decisions. So, structured learning experience may be either paid or unpaid, depending on the type of activities in which the student is involved. These are guidelines for student research. Discuss the research question and make sure that everyone in your group understands what the research question means. Next, make a list of the things that you think you will need to find out in order to answer the research question. Next, arrange the list in order from the first thing you will do, the last thing you will do. Decide which member of the group will be responsible for each item on your list. And decide how you help each member of your team learn about issues that other learn member are investigating, and how you will help each team member achieve the learning outcomes. Start gathering the information that you gathered, the information you need. Share the information that you gathered with other members of your group so that everyone is satisfied that the information you have gathered is what the group needs. And keep a simple record to show the progress your group has made. Next, organize and analyze the information gathered so that you can answer the research question. Next, prepare a report of your result of your research. And the last, evaluate the research effort of your group in considering how well you were able to answer the research question and how well the group worked as a team.